listening to Adrenaline Radio, 1680 AM on your dial. I'm Fred Blanchard, host of Adrenaline Motorsports, and Steve Montrelli's back with us again. We were talking about NHRA, and there was some things there that some major changes going on there, from what I understand. Something was mentioned about the nitromethane. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the injected fuel cars run, their class has blown alcohol cars in it, which has a supercharger on it, and it also has the injected fuel cars that can run nitromethane. And over the last couple of years, I guess they've been playing around with cooling the fuel and cooling it and making a few other changes. I don't know all of the changes. I just know about this coolant thing. So what they've done lately, this year, NHRA said they cannot cool the fuel anymore. And so
What's the process, Steve?
Well, I was asking a guy, I said,
yeah.
well, what do you mean cool the fuel? I says, I know how I cooled the fuel in a boat one time, or a couple times. And
why don't you tell us about it? How'd you do it in the boat?
Well, what did you call that, CO2?
Yeah, right. That's exactly what it was.
Okay, well, what we did is on the gasoline, which you're going to be running, is on the blown gas boats, I was looking for something to cool the fuel off, because gasoline burns so hot anyways. So we were trying to cool the tank, and then for the fuel to go into the injector colder than it would normally. So we had a big tank, whatever, 25-gallon, 5-gallon tank.
Yeah, that's like they use.
Like to use on a barbecue.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that type of tank.
That style of tank, sure,
right.
Absolutely.
And we would fill it, and we ran it to the tank, and it would siphon inside and just cool the fuel when you're in the pits. And then when it was going to go to the starting line, we had a line right next to the driver, and you could just take one of those canisters and put it on there, and then when the guy would push out to the rope and they'd tell him to go ahead and start the boat up, he'd start the boat up, and then he'd turn that on, put it in gear, and go.
This canister, if I recall, was it Freon that you were using?
Yes, Freon. So, I mean, it wasn't dangerous. There was nothing dangerous about it. It wasn't cheating. It wasn't doing anything other than somebody say, well, they're running too fast. What are they doing? And we had that situation pop up. But anyways, these top fuel cars, injected fuel cars, what they were doing is they were actually making like a slushy in the pits, and they would put that in the tank.
Wait a second. You're telling me that you can take nitromethane and get it so cold that it turns into a slush product?
No.
What does it do?
Well, yes, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
So if you bring a temperature down on nitromethane, this is what you're able to do with it.
Right.
Really?
Well, that's the way I was explained to me. Now, I could be wrong in the way I'm saying it.
No, but I think that...
But it'd have to be, because you wouldn't be adding water to it to make a slushy. So it's got to be the nitromethane.
No, okay.
Wow. And they run 92, 93%, whatever the...
So this is what they were doing in order to compete with what was running out there in that class. Is that
right?
Correct?
So that the blown alcohol and the injected fuel would be very close to each other. So now, the other day, I was talking to one of the friends of mine, and they're going to run about I think 3 or 4 more weeks for the first NHRI race with the injected fuel cars, and they feel that at the racetrack when they go there that the injected fuel cars will not be competitive to the blown alcohol cars, and that's the moment of truth. And then they're going to find out that NHRA is going to have to do something either to the blown alcohol cars again, or let them do what they're doing. A lot of the injected fuel cars have joined another circuit, has nothing to do with NHRA, and it's a guaranteed deal for my HRA to go run some races, like I think it's 7 or 8 races during the year.
But none of that's local, is it, Steve?
Well, no, none of those are local. They're all in North Carolina to
Eastern.
Right.
Okay.
None of them are out here, and these guys they run all the safety equipment, everything NHRA rules, but they can use the cold tank, and they can also put computerized clutch mechanisms and all that stuff in the car, like a like the big guys have. So they're working towards that, and there's a guy that has a fuel system. He does fuel systems that has put this thing together, and supposedly, hopefully before the end of the year, they'll have a $4.99 injected fuel car.
Wow. I got to tell you, the changes of what's going on in drag racing today is just amazing. Obviously, drag racers are still creative. They're still moving forward with creating new ideas, new concepts, how to make things work different. And I think that's the nature of the drag racer. I think it's been going on that way for years, and it looks like to me nothing's changed other than what they're using and the improvement upon parts and pieces and the fuels they run and that type of thing. We are going to be having, hopefully in a not too distant future, a new sponsor for our program, and it's going to be a company called B&B Performance Products, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's the manufacturing of products for high-performance engines, and within the next couple of 3 or 4 weeks, there'll be some new parts available, and this company will be one of our sponsors. And the market area that they're going to cater to are drag boats and pro mods and some tractor pullers, that type of thing. And what they're going to be manufacturing are cylinder heads for the 426 Chrysler, as well as the custom engine, the Arius 8.3 Arius, which in those days was a cast engine block with cast cylinder heads that circulated water through the heads, and also some solid heads as well. But there is what is believed to be by that company is that they're going to be a middle market for that program, and there'll be some people there that will express some interest in having some of those parts to be able to use. That had lied dormant for a while in the areas of utilization of cast parts, and most of those cars that run this style of engine pretty much make it out of a solid billet block, which machined down to the shape of an engine block, and then they put the internal rotating assembly components to make an engine out of it. But they're using solid billet components out of a great big chunk of aluminum, and bless their hearts, that's what they've been doing, and in order to keep up and make horsepower and what have you. But I think this other company might have a place in its market for the middle market, and that's kind of the direction they're going to be choosing. But we'll hear more about that in the future. But I did want to bring that about because they're going to be a sponsor of Adrenaline Motorsports, and there's going to be a lot coming up with that. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to hear more about Arius pistons again.